Hey guys, Haito here, and today we're doing What If Jiraiya trained Naruto seriously. This idea came out mostly because when I think about it, think about Sakura. Sakura grew way more than Naruto did. That doesn't say that Shippuden Sakura is stronger than Shippuden Naruto, but if we look at it percentage-wise between their strength levels, we can see obviously that Sakura's grew more. Then let's make this easier for you to imagine. Think about Sasuke. Sasuke and Naruto at the end of Naruto Part 1 were roughly in the same ballpark as each other, there wasn't too big of a difference between the two. But in Shippuden, there's a massive difference between the two. Sasuke would easily be able to just destroy Naruto. That's pretty bad. And I think there's many ways that Jiraiya could easily train Naruto to get him at least somewhere around that type of ballpark. So yeah, that's basically what if scenario is based on. This is a fanfic as usual, but I've already thought of lots of interesting ways to make this plot different. But anyways, let's just get straight into it. Chapter 1, Fire. Jiraiya lay in a thin bed, a vapor white curtain to his left, and a window that illuminated sunlight into his room, allowing things to be saw without an electronic light. Jiraiya looked up at the roof. He was covered in bandages. The only thing visible on his face was the blood-red tattoos and his calculating black eyes. He hadn't a clue what to do. He had taken Naruto out of the village. For what? So far, he had managed to round out Naruto's rough spots, but other than that, nothing. He had jumped straight to trying to get the kid to manifest and control the Nine Tails' power, which had led him into the hospital. Soon, Jiraiya knew Naruto would have to fight some of the strongest shinobi ever to exist. In his current state, Naruto wouldn't be able to land one hit on its members. He knew he had to do something. He looked out of the window. He saw the sky that paralleled the eye of his students perfectly. 2 years left on our trading trip. I still have time, he muttered to himself, reassuring himself that he could still make this worth his time. The door creaked open. Pervy Sage? Naruto said, poking his blue eyes through the parting between the door and its hinges. Come on in, Naruto, the newly named Pervy Sage said with tangible bravado, knowing already how Naruto was feeling. Naruto casually walked in and sat on the guest seat, positioned in front of the bed. They sat in silence, which both allowed, not wanting to push the other into a conversation they weren't ready for. Naruto clenched his fists. His head was looking down. He didn't remember much about what happened, but he knew what had happened. Naruto, we need to talk. He paused for a second to see if the blonde shinobi would respond, but nothing came. I took you out of the village to give you the strength to survive against the Akatsuki and bring back your friend Sasuke. But I've so far failed, and for that I'm sorry. Naruto at this clenched his teeth and clenched his eyes lids together. Pervy Sage, I promise that I will master the Furball chakra. I give you my word, but that's my ninja way. Naruto stood up and exclaimed, holding his fist in front of his face in declaration, and his eyes gritted. Jiraiya smiled, then burst out laughing. Appreciate it, kid, but we ain't gonna try to deal with the fox. Instead, I've got a lot of ninjutsu to teach you, Jiraiya said as he grinned along with Naruto. Naruto suddenly gained even more energy. What jutsu? Naruto said. Well, tomorrow you'll find out, Jiraiya said as he slumped down again due to the energy he used that day. The next day. So kid, I need you to turn your chakra into this piece of paper. The two stood in an open ground of thick grey concrete. Jiraiya still looked like a mummy, and Naruto wore his orange jumpsuit. Wait, how's that gonna help? Naruto said as he tilted his mop of yellow hair to the side. Just do it, Jiraiya groaned. Fine, Naruto said as he took the piece of paper. He began to pour his overwhelming chakra into it. Suddenly it was cut in two. The two pieces glided to the ground, and then when they touched the ground, They burst into flames. Naruto heard the sound of a clap. Now it's perfect for me to teach you my primary techniques. Jiraiya reacted. So wait, does that mean I can produce fire like Sasuke? Naruto said as a grin reappeared on his face. Yes, it does, Jiraiya said, scratching his head, not being able to match his pupil's enthusiasm. Okay, what first? Naruto said, ready to begin. Jiraiya hummed to himself, considering the possibilities. Okay, I'll teach you the fire-style Dragon Flame Bomb Jutsu, he said as he got into a silly stance. Naruto's eyes widened at the name of the jutsu. Naruto was just about to begin talking, but he was cut off. Only once you've melted this rock completely, Jiraiya said, bathing in the despair on Naruto's face. But, Naruto said, really not wanting to do this. The only way you'll get stronger is to go through the motions, which includes the rock. Have fun! Jiraiya handed over the grey rock before walking off with a victorious smile. Naruto sighed before getting to work. 1 hour later, Naruto had been running around trying to find more rocks, as he'd used the same principles to form a Rasengan in his training, which had destroyed the rock on more than 20 occasions. He hated to admit it, but he needed a drink of water. He began to walk to the nearest village in sight. He saw wooden stalls with foods and drinks alike to boot, which wasn't new to the blonde shinobi, as he travelled all over the land of fire with Jiraiya. He walked past a booth. It had water. The man seemed to be presenting a show. Little kids were watching in boredom. And now I'll turn this water into a teapot, the man said, sweating. He poured the water into the see-through container. The kids looked unimpressed, as they all left having enough. This can be done due to the principles of water, the man said, trying to regain the crowd's interest. Wait, I just need to use the principles of fire. What are they? Okay, it's hot and it burns, Naruto thought as he ran off. He had finally had an idea on how to do it. I have to down my chakra and turn it to fire, Naruto thought, as he arrived at the massive rock called a training ground. He held the rock in the palm of his hand. He focused on the burning sensation in his stomach, then poured chakra into the rock. The rock still exploded. 2 days later. Ha ha! Finally I've done it! Naruto exclaimed as he held out the corpse of a melted rock in his hands. The boy was covered in sweat from using so much chakra. He ran straight back to his hotel room. Hey, Pearly Sage, I did it! Naruto shouted happily. He held out the melted rock like it was a trophy. Excellent, Jiraiya said, noting to himself that for anyone else it would have took a couple of months to learn that skill. Now we can get onto the jutsu, he said as he stood. 1 year later. Fire style! Dragon Flame Bomb! Naruto said as he launched a stream of fire at his master Jiraiya. Jiraiya launched the same attack back. The two flames destroyed the ground beneath. Naruto was using all his might to prevail. He felt himself being pushed back, and he knew his sensei wasn't going all out. His feet broke the ground. He jumped up and over the low-hanging stream of fire. A cloud popped into existence. Naruto chucked it at Jiraiya, whilst the second clown was used to send the real Naruto back to the ground. The clown flashed hand signs. Phoenix Flower Jutsu! Naruto said, as balls of flame launched at Jiraiya. The second one also flashed hand signs in the air. Wind style, great breakthrough! The wind enlarged the balls and increased the pace of the attack. Jiraiya swiftly tilted his head upwards before the real Naruto could reach the ground. The two techniques clashed. There was a struggle, but the wind acted as a double-edged blade and increased Jiraiya's power. It overcame Naruto's jutsu and fried the clones. A roaring flame dragon was centimeters away from Jiraiya. He was impressed that his student had gotten this far in only a few years. Well, only one to be honest. He still wasn't strong enough to destroy the Akatsuki, but he could put up a good fight. He, in that second charge of Rasengan, slammed it into the dragon. The ball of pure strength easily overcame the dragon and transformed it into simply embers. He turned as he saw Naruto with the similar ball of oceanic blue, which raged in Naruto's palm as he stood behind Jiraiya. "Rasengan!" Naruto said as he slammed the ball into the sage. Jiraiya groaned in agony as he was sent 7 feet back. Jiraiya smiled, as he had finally had confirmation that his student was strong enough, but he still wasn't a match for the Toad Sage. And he knew it. Jiraiya rushed Naruto. They engaged in a taijutsu. Slowly but surely, Naruto was sent back. Naruto jumped back, trying to create then distance. Jiraiya attempted not to allow Naruto's retreat, but Naruto fired off the same wind-style jutsu from before, sending the Sanin back. "Clone Jutsu!" Naruto shouted as an army of 50 clones emerged. "Let's do this!" Naruto said as they all surrounded Jiraiya. Jiraiya then summoned 3 shadow clones himself in response. They stood back to back. All of the Naruto weaved hand designs. Waves of fire and dragons rushed at the Sanin, rushed at the Sanin. Along with this, a current of wind was sent. "Fire and wind style! Fire hurricane!" Naruto said as he pulled out his special move. The flames surrounded the Sanin, allowing for no movement. Jiraiya knew if he used a fire style, it would only add to the flames. So he had another ploy to employ. "Earth style! Mud swamp!" Jiraiya said as he slammed his palm into the ground. The concrete below turned to mud as it engulfed the Narutos. The real Naruto grunted frustration as he prepared for another jutsu when he felt the cold edge of a kunai pressed against his neck. He untied his shoulders and looked to the ground. "You win," Naruto growled out. "Don't be a sore loser, kid. Plus, I got a jutsu to teach you. One of the great powers that trumps even the Rasengan. Well, I wouldn't call it a jutsu, but I would call it Sage Mode." And that is where we are leaving it for today. I really do hope you had fun, because I actually really looking forward to make more parts to this. Really, what I would say about this is that it took me a little bit of brainstorming to make this an interesting storyline. Also, I didn't really want to give him fire style as one of his releases, as I don't want to really change canon too much. But I thought it'd be best because Jiraiya has a lot of fire techniques. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Sorry about if the audio quality was complete garbage. I'm pretty sick at the moment, so yeah, I've got a pretty nasally voice at the moment. But I did want to get this video out. And yeah, see you guys later. Bye.